Hey, this is Jen from Midnight Sky Fibers, and I'm here to talk to you today about choosing vegan yarns for your knitting and crochet projects. So, the problem with a lot of vegan yarns, if you're trying to be earth friendly, is that many of them are overprocessed and use a lot of chemicals, both in the growing, manufacturing, and dyeing stages. So, some of the best yarns out there to choose if you're vegan: you can choose organic colored cotton yarns, which are great because they are growing cotton yarns now, especially in green and brown shades, that have really nice, subtle, earthy tones that are great without dyes, that are being grown by indigenous cultures and that are being brought back, and those are a really great earth-friendly alternative to other cotton yarns out there. They are especially good for people who are looking to knit or crochet projects where a cotton yarn, it doesn't matter if it stretches out or shrinks slightly. So housewares, bags, washcloths, very simple knit cotton tank tops. You can even use them for sweaters, but you really want to be careful that you do a gauge swatch before knitting so you know what's going to happen and how much is going to shrink and stretch out, because cotton tends to get baggy when it's wet. Next up, there's recycled fibers. The all-time best example of recycled fibers is probably recycled soda bottle fiber, which is incredibly awesome, and they're also making it into a lot of other products, like everything from car seat covers to sweatshirts. It's pretty cool. It comes in a variety of styles. It can be a little bit hard to find, but it's very interesting to spin with, and if you can find it in a yarn or that's been spun into a hand spun yarn, it's really interesting to work with. It's best for projects that are good for novelty yarns, so hand spun hats, really simple edging on gloves, the edges of sweaters, simple bags that won't get a huge lot of wear and tear to them. The recycled fibers tend to either have a short staple like cotton or a slightly longer staple about the length similar to wool, but it doesn't really feel like wool because it's plastic. I've had it hold up quite well in tests. I've been spinning with it for a while, but I don't think I would use it for something entirely like a giant sweater out of it, just because you wouldn't want the plasticky feel right next to your skin. The next earth-friendly fiber is hemp. Hemp is great because it's very minimally processed. The downside is that it's not very soft. If you can find a hemp blend, especially like hemp and soy silk, tends to be very soft. Otherwise, hemp is really best for projects that don't need a lot of stretch. So basically housewares and bags again. It's not. I don't like it for garments or anything like that. It does soften up when it washes, but I find it incredibly itchy, and it tends to be too stiff for me to really want to wear. I don't want to wear a modular garment that feels like you're wearing the same shape, that it doesn't change. Garments should drape when you're wearing them. Another great fiber that's very similar to hemp is aloo. Aloo is made from nettles, but not to worry, it does not sting you when you touch it. It's mostly available, from what I've seen, in a lace weight to a light decay weight yarn. It's hand spun. It's very rough. It does soften up after it's been worked with, especially if you have to pull your project out and make it a couple times, as I've done. I knit a lace doily out of it. I would not recommend that for people, especially if you don't have a lot of calluses on your hands. It's great for things like bath scrubbies. And the final type of vegan yarns that are really earth-friendly is if you can get hand-spun blends of yarns. People make these from different blends of organic, natural colored cottons to the different recycled fibers and the hemp, and sometimes they'll bun it a little bit of soy silk or something else to it, and they often spin it around a cotton core. And the nice thing about those is that you can get really unusual yarns that machines can't make, that are really unique, and so that kind of opens up the door a lot more for making unique novelty hats and interesting hand-spun yarn scarves.